UN peacekeeping program means varies depending on whom you ask. CCTV's Liling asked the head of the Peacekeeping Operations program, Hervé Ladsous, for his assessment.
Peacekeeping is facing a very different climate of conflict now than it has historically. Can you tell us about the new kind of challenges that you and UN peacekeepers are facing on the ground?
Increasingly, we are giving mandates in places where quite often there is no peace to keep. And this is why, one of the reasons why we have been subject to so many asymmetric attacks by various groups, including by terrorists, jihadists, and that is an illustration of the difficulty that we face. Mali is, I think, the best illustration, because we are not and we cannot be a tool for fighting terrorism. That goes much beyond the philosophy of peacekeeping, so it's a very challenging situation, but yet one that we have to deal with, and we deal with that also by using new tools. We bring in up-to-date technology, and this is illustrated by the use of UAVs, surveillance drones, and I just say surveillance only, not attack drones, but that's made a big change in the way we operate for the last 2 years in Eastern Congo. We also have to make much more use of intelligence, precisely to know who's who.
UN peacekeeping is also seeing change ahead. There's a panel review of operations that's looking into whether UN peacekeeping is still relevant. What are some changes that you hope to see?
So better equipment, better training, but also much more emphasis on delivery. And when there is a failure of delivery, when really the troops or the police have not delivered, then immediate measures. We had some police, who performed badly, actually atrociously, killing people. Well, they were out of the mission within 10 days. You have seen recently cases, allegations of sexual misconduct. Well, now, when I become aware of another case, people are out. And not only the alleged perpetrators pending investigation, but also the chain of command, the unit commander, because he usually has a degree of responsibility. If people didn't behave, he probably hasn't done his job in telling his people, be careful. That's a very important policy there.
If the troops are found to be responsible, they're out, and then their superiors are out too.
And they will never serve, they will never be called upon to serve again under the UN flag. Oh yes, that's a very, very strong policy.
Now, on these sexual abuse allegations, in the past month, the UN has been called to task over how it handled the allegations of French peacekeepers sexually abusing children in the CAR in the Central African Republic. There was that report several weeks ago showing it's still prevalent in the field among peacekeepers, UN peacekeepers. And then recently, UN peacekeepers involved in sexual abuse, again in the CAR. Now, I know you want changes made, but what is actually going on? Why does this continue to be so prevalent?
Well, first, these cases in CAR, the French and others, they were not serving the UN at the time. They were under the African Union, or in case of the French, they were under a national flag. This being said, of course, we have to keep watching very carefully, because any case is one case too many. But the difficulty is the membership of the United Nations, who have left us no capacity to prosecute or to judge. This capacity has remained with the member states. So we say zero tolerance policy, and I continue to say it, and of course it has to be, but I say also, you member states, you have to have a zero tolerance policy, which means that there is an allegation against some of your soldiers, your policemen, investigate them, prosecute them if necessary, judge them, condemn them to whatever penalty, and tell us what's happened.
This must be very frustrating for you, though.
Completely.
How upset are you every time you see a report? I mean, it's, you know,
Absolutely.
it keeps coming up.
Absolutely. But I have to say that the number of cases that are alleged is going down. This year, we had a number, so far this year, we had a number of allegations which was about half what it was for the same period 4 years ago.
Half.
So there is a downward trend. But again, any case is one case too many.